Hello everyone, welcome to Wands 101. We have had this on the list of to-dos for quite some time, so I figured since spooky season is in full swing, why not make a collection of wands? So let me see if we got anyone here. Go back to my main camera. So first I'm going to kind of start out talking about wand shapes. I tend to like wands that are a little more slender. I think this is about as chunky as I would get. And I want to say this is 3/4 of, or not 3/4, but 3/8 of an inch. And I cut mine to about 16.5 inches because I like them pretty long. They're almost to a scepter length, which I have a couple pieces which are slightly longer. For instance, this is almost a scepter. A scepter being kind of something that like Sailor Moon would carry. You're having trouble hearing me? Oh no! All right, let me see if I can fix that. Is that better? Of course. The day I don't do a run through with the Wolfman. All right, let me try and fix it. I'll put the mic closer. I think that's as close as the mic will go. And you can't hear me? Well, all right. You can now. Did you turn your own phone up? Or am I just quiet? Let me know because I don't want to keep going if people can't hear me. If you could you give the Wolfman the link to the live stream so I can see if maybe he'll jump on and fix the audio if possible. So I'll just turn up my mic volume so maybe it picks up a bit more. Okay, get my seat reseated. Okay, back to the main camera. So you can hear me. Thumbs up if you can hear me. So this is the wand that I made as like an example, and I actually made the wand itself a long time ago, and I made these little nubs, if you can see. Made these little nubs to look kind of like birch bark and notches in it, and it's just painted. And I started out actually with a square dowel, and I whittled this one down, and then I decided to make a little bit of something snazzy, jazzed it up with some quartz crystals that I had found digging in the dirt in Arkansas when I was there on vacation. There is something I wanted to do, and I wanted to test one of the techniques that I have, which apparently mica powder will stick really well to hot glue. I don't know if it has to be fresh or not, so let's give it a whirl. And everyone had requested that we don't do carving, just to make it a little easier for folks. And the mica powder seems to be sticking pretty well. Just trying to darken up the little segments in between. So I'm going to do a combination of techniques, but the two main things we're going to be doing is hot glue and wood epoxy. So we'll see how that goes. I also plan on giving away the wands that I make today. Let me go on my main camera. So if you can see, kind of making the glue around the crystal kind of look like the color of the birch. So the mica powder does stick to the hot glue. It didn't have to be hot, it colored it, so I think I'll probably use that on one of these wands that I'm going to make. So let me put the mica powder away. I'm going to be using black hot glue because when you kind of dry brush on top of a dark background, it looks really good. Let me dripped a little bit of mica powder. Just get that rubbing off on everything. And this is a wand that I made solely out of sanding. And it's got this kind of corkscrew effect to it. I don't know if my camera will focus so you guys can see it. There we go. I plan on giving this one away also. Let me show you on the other camera if you can see. It's kind of cool corkscrew effect. So you should have your dowels cut to the length that you want already. If not, if you've got a really thin dowel, you can just snip it with some pliers like wire cutters and sand it down. I used my coping saw to cut mine down, but as you can see, I've got ones already filed down with the points, the desired points that I want. But first things first, we're going to take one of these dowels. And this is a walnut dowel that I happened to find at the hardware store. They had like a couple of them and I snagged them up. And we're just going to take a high grit sandpaper and just wear that down to a point. So just turn it as you go. And this may take a while, which is why I went ahead and did some in advance, but you can kind of see where it's getting a little rounded on the edge. So just keep turning it as you're doing it. Kind of do it at a shallow angle. And if you have like an X-Acto knife or something, you can take a little more off. I know we said no carving, but if you don't want to wait so long, you can take that edge down. So just kind of file it like you would a pencil down to a point. And that'll help you get a little bit more of that off. But I kind of like these bullet shapes for my wand. You can make yours super pointy if you want. It's up to you. I was doing a ton of kind of research and just looking at what other people are doing for wands, and I feel like the wands that are done on lathes look a little too uniform, and I feel like the ones that are done solely out of like polymer clay, they kind of look a little bulky. Some people go a little nuts with ones that are done with hot glue. So it's starting to get to a point. And I'm using, I think this is 80 grit sandpaper to get. And walnut is notoriously a very hard wood. So if you're using something a little softer, it's probably gonna knock it out a little faster. So we're just wearing that tip down to a point. Hello, Lady Teal, you did make it. Welcome to Wands 101. Tammy's here. I think we have someone else here. Might be the Wolfman checking my audio. Tammy said she couldn't hear me. Can you hear me? I'm hoping. Just turn my microphone volume up. Okay, good. As I was saying before, I'm just taking some wooden dowels I bought. This is a walnut one, and it's this nice rich color all the way through. I honestly thought that they had maybe just stained some birch ones, but as you can see, it's the brown color all the way through. And last time, when I was doing the Zen garden, all these little grass parts, I love having this kind of grass mat and this little setup that I have, but the little grass pieces get stuck on everything. So I have this lovely piece of cardboard here. Have you ever heard any of the like wand innuendo pieces off from like Harry Potter? Where they take like an excerpt from the book and you put it in a raunchy context, and it just, every time they're talking about wands, it's just super hilarious. Grasp your wand firmly. Give it a good flick. Sorry. I don't know if this grinding noise is irritating to anyone, so sorry if it is. I'm just trying to do one so I can demonstrate getting it to a point. And we're getting pretty close. I don't know, at least it's not something like forks on a plate or chalkboards. I can't stand that. I try and be conscious to sounds because I know a lot of folks have issues with sounds. So constantly be turning the dowel. That way it ends up symmetrical or not. You could have it not be symmetrical. That's totally fine too. You could get this whole thing to kind of go to a bend just by wearing down one side and then like at the end putting a curve into it, so you could make it look maybe a little more like a sickle. That's an idea. Okay, we're almost there. So those other wands I had done on a belt sander, I seriously got them to a point in probably less than a minute. So but I said I'm going to try to use less tools because not everyone's got access to a workshop. I take it you have today off, Lady Teal. That or you work later. I think at some point I'm gonna have to swap out, add some candles. Burned mine down to stubs today. We're almost there. I just want to make it to where you don't have any of that lip at the end. Doesn't take much though to get it where you need it. The entire weekend off, was that planned? Are you on a vacation or? And there we go. We got it to a nub. So this would be what I consider a chunky wand. I made this one out of the exact same dowel. The difference is how much I sanded it. And let me know if you think the camera is a little too dark. I will turn up the contrast or whatever. And if you need to, and your wood started splintering with the larger grit sandpaper, use a smaller grit. I don't think I need to, but I had those available. So what should we do first? Wood putty or hot glue? Let's do some wood putty. So let me take my thinner wand, and this is why I said don't use a super thick dowel, because if you're going to be adding shapes to it, you don't really, I mean, you can obviously start with a chunky boy or chunky gal, whatever you want it to be, your wand. I usually come up with personalities for my projects, but if you start with a super chunker, you're going to get some rather chunky effects. But you could make kind of like a stopper, kind of if you think like a sword, and a sword would have like the hilt. You could do something like that, adding a little bit of girth to it, but you can make it look good. So if you are going to add to your wands, that's the scepter size. Let's go with the... If you are going to use the wood putty, I would definitely go with a smaller wand, because I like mine to be a little more sleek. That's good. Congratulations. So for putty, this stuff is really cool because it's sandable after it's 100% cured. It's got like a brown color to it. Obviously, this is going to have to be painted. The dowel's going to have to be painted the same color. But I'm going to just cut a little bit off and work with a little bit at a time, because this stuff sets up very quickly once it's mixed. I suggest using gloves. It doesn't say you have to in the instructions, but it's chemicals. There's obviously a chemical reaction happening because the putty gets pretty warm. So you cut some off, and you're gonna mix the brown outer putty with the inner core of whatever the reactant is. The stuff stinks. It smells like a dog's butt. But you're just gonna knead it till it's nice and mixed, and then you can add shapes to your wand. I like having these kind of... So I'm going to figure out, I think I want kind of like a hilt here. Just smush it on. And I'm using this because obviously I don't have a situation to bake any polymer. So you can do the same situation but with polymer, but you got to understand that you're baking wood along with the polymer. You just do a really slow bake if you have to. But the wood putty is kind of nice because you can smush it down with your fingers and shape it. I'm going to pinch it together to make kind of like a thorny vibe to it. And it'll start hardening pretty quick. So keep patting it. And as it hardens up, you can get it into really nice pointy shapes. And I've got spooky noises going on in the background, so if that's too much, let me know. Maybe I will flatten this out a little bit. I'm gonna roll it. and then work it some more. As it hardens up, it kind of makes it really nice and sculptable. I think I just picked up some debris from the so I'm going to pinch that back out. It's not quite hard enough for me to feel like I can get a good and this stuff is really good if you're doing something like a decorative box. I used it on the Secret Society's time capsule box to fill in some gaps and stuff. I was running out of time. And wood filler and wood glue can kind of take too long. So I'm going to look down the barrel of this thing and make sure my circle's not getting out of control. And you know what? Maybe it'll be cool if I do like a little flappy pattern. It kind of looks like a tutu skirt. I don't know if I like that. But it's still soft, so I can keep messing with it. And also once it hardens up a bit, you can like cut away from it, kind of like clay. Give you guys a better idea, picture of what's happening. Alrighty. See you when you get back. Alright, I'm gonna let this harden up, cure for a minute, and then I think I'm gonna cut. Maybe I'll try rolling it again. So I kind of made like a fluted end to it. Just keep that straight. So I kind of like that. Kind of a fluted end. Maybe cut this. It's not quite hard enough to do this, but just trying to shape it up a little bit. And this one, I think I am going to add crystals to. I can't remember what I had planned for which one. So I think this is the one that I'm gonna do kind of like the birch one, but I got some smaller crystals. So I'm making a nice little platform for those crystals to sit on. Okay, I'm gonna let that sit for a minute. And get out a little bit more. Make sure it's not. I'm not sure I mixed it enough. So you're supposed to keep mixing it until it gets warm. I can't tell through my gloves if it's warm enough. So hopefully that stiffens up after a couple minutes, because if not, I'll have to remix it. All right. So that's one thing. Then next I'm gonna make kind of like a bit at the bottom over here to put these little crystals that I have right there. So I'm gonna have some sticking out of the bottom, and then also out of the kind of splayed out of this little fluted part. So just cut enough of this to make a good kind of wedge at the bottom. I'm always nervous to mix it too much, because then the set time is like insanely fast. And also, it's important that you're, I cut the putty instead of like pinching off a piece, because you need to have like a 1-to-1 mix. So I'm just gonna keep mixing this until I can feel it through my gloves, which I have very thick mill gloves on, so. It's kind of getting warm. I'm going to roll it. going to kind of make it look a little more geometric. Just tapping it to give it some faceted sides. Let me get some water real quick. My fingers are all sticky. Let's clean it up a little bit. So to make the gems look embedded in, I'm going to kind of shove them into the putty right now. Smooth it out so it looks like it's molded into the wand. Sorry, I keep taking it out of frame. Okay, it's finally stiffening up here too, so. All right, so I'm gonna take a couple of these crystals, and they're not gonna stay though. I'm just making the indent into the putty. Which will be the place that I'll then glue it in. Sorry if you can't see what I'm doing. You can't hear anything now? Let me see if the problem is my camera. I show that I have sound coming in. Will you please tell me if you can't hear me? You know what? I might just try and make them embedded in the putty. I don't think it will stick to rock as well, but I'll take some of my larger ones for the base. All right, you can hear, I'm starting to get nervous. Can you guys hear me? It's hard to work this into the crystals after the fact. So if you're going to put the crystals embedded, I suggest figuring out if you want to do that beforehand, because once it starts getting hard, it's more difficult to get them in there. So let's see, maybe one more sticking in there. Otherwise, it kind of looks like a chicken foot. Or a pig foot, I mean. I guess. Which might be kind of cool. Some kind of forest witchy pigfoot situation. Just keep patting it as it's hardening. To mold it into where you want it to go. Hello, Nicole. Okay, so this is what I got so far. Got a wand with some embedded crystals, making sure that they don't fall out until it's really hardened. You could use some sculpting tools too. I'm just using a whatever you call this. My favorite kind of blade. The breakaway X-Acto knives. Conjure away. Someone's gonna win this one. So I gotta make it look nice. And if you happen to get a lot on the handle or whatever, you can just take an X-Acto knife. You can sand it off, but I'm just waiting. I don't want to put it down. I'm afraid to put it down and have everything fall out of it. So, and you might need to reinforce your crystals after the stuff hardens. It might not, they might be a little loose, just to glue them in place, but it'll look like they're molded in there. Oh, look at that. Nick, you're here. The prodigal son returns. Yeah, if at any point the audio cuts out, let me know. Tammy with a Y had me freaked out when I first got on. So the winner of the flower press, it was a tough call. I had 3 entries, and they were all so good that I decided I was going to make 2 wands during the craft along here, and I'm going to give the other 2 entries wands because they were really good. So someone gets the flower press and the other 2 people will get a wand. Okay, so I am just going to, maybe I can set it like this. It's kind of top or bottom heavy. So I'm going to set it here and we can mess with the other wand. Oh, did I do something? Nope, those are staying in there pretty good. Kind of messed my little flange up though. Stay. Okay. Okay, so we got one waiting to harden up, and that I did with the epoxy, and we can add some details with the hot glue if we want. I kind of like this how it is. This is getting more crystals up here at the top, but I don't want to put anything on until this top piece is fully hardened. So we're gonna just let that sit there for until it's fully hardened up. Stop falling, please. My candles are dying out. How does one win? A wand or win? Well, Nicole, you're one of the entries, so you're either getting a flower press or a wand. You're a winner, either way. Okay, let me clean up my hands before I move on to the next style. I feel like the epoxy would probably pick up everything. You cannot hear the sounds. Very soft melody in the background. You can't hear here. Can you hear me tapping? Or do you hear just the music? Okay. Look pretty good. My thumb is still a little tacky. Okay, so this next... Okay, well, I hope it's not me. I see I'm receiving audio. I'm receiving audio. I just don't know if it's cutting out or what. Either way. I guess we'll just, the show must go on. I feel like this is going to get knocked over. Put that right there. Okay, so now we have another dowel. This one is kind of scepter length. Let's do something with the hot glue. Now this one is a process of building up, and we'll see how this goes. I say work with gravity because it's obviously going to be dripping. And I'm probably going to get one of these, have it on hand. And I'm using a very small glue gun. And what would you guys like to see? What would the theme of this one be? It's a nice walnut color. Just talk louder. Can you hear me? The mic is like a foot from my face, so I'm hoping it's not a problem. All right, so for this one, I have purchased these little eyeballs. And let me go back to the webcam. You can see these little glass eyeball beads. And I am going to start with gluing these in places that I want. Do we want to, I think I'm not going to make it go all the way down the wand. But I'm going to start gluing eyeballs here. And then I'll build up the glue around it. So we'll put a dot there. And then I'm going to glue the eyeball on, because I think the hot glue would be really good for making like eyelids over it. So I'm just going to load this wand with eyeballs. bloody drips. I think tweezers probably would have been good. This kind of just reminds me of my my eyeball lamp. I have a thing for eyeballs, I guess. I'm gonna put one here at the end. And I suggest you get your hands on some black hot glue. If you look at a lot of the Michael's Craft Halloween decor stuff, they should have been using black hot glue to put everything together, because I was looking at the it's an hourglass, I think, that had a snake on it, and it was all dark, and then you look at it and it's got this like white hot glue holding it all together, and it was just not good. They could have just very easily used black hot glue. So I think I'm gonna have the eyeballs kind of spiral up. Or do we want it to look more just like grotesque? When I was a kid, I used to draw these eyeballs that had bat wings and like vampire teeth. I don't know where I saw them, but I used to draw that all the time. So I think I do want to leave a little gap, I think right here, for finger grasping, so that it'll have like a glob around the palm to hold, but then that, and then maybe like a eyeball or two at the top. So now I'm just going to, I think, start here and then just start gluing. And you got to be careful, because you might reheat the glue that's holding things on. It might be nice to have like a clamp or something, so you can do things one-handed. And I'd say hold it down at an angle so your glue drips down to the lowest point, because we're going to have it taper. Sorry if you can't see what I'm doing. Crafting and demonstrating is difficult. And if it drips off, just let it drip, I think. Don't try and smear it around. I don't think it'll end well if you do. All right, so I've got one layer. I've got one layer on, and I'm just gonna let that harden. It's a lot, so I don't want it to be. I'm guessing you can't get your I have that problem. There's a lot of like tight corners. I had a really neat couch from my great grandmother, and that my mom had reupholstered, and I couldn't get it anywhere in the house. So I got it into the one room I could, and then my dogs tore it up. Okay, so before I move on, you know what? I'm gonna see if I've got any tweezers. I don't see any. Wait, oh, I do. It would really help with this. Before I do a second layer, I'm going to remove all the little spider webs you get from hot glue. Now I'm going to kind of go back and fill in the gaps. And then I could start like adding eye shapes, I think. Or like eyelids and stuff. Bulking it up around it. They didn't have the black sticks, the glue sticks in long ones, so I have to reload them a lot more. It sucks. Okay, so when you feel like you've got one side of the eyeball coated well, flip it over. Oops. Let me see if my webcam is still okay. So you can see the eyeballs. Now I'm going to flip it over this way and then kind of start making the bottom lids. And this made me think of the, I got this because oh shoot, what's the movie? With the buck with the eyeball, and it's everyone's favorite. Hocus Pocus, there we go. My brain was not working. Hocus Pocus, the Hocus Pocus book has the eyeball in the book, so it's like a wand to go with that. And I'm just using the tip of the hot glue gun to kind of merge the layers of glue. So we got some eyelids going. I'm just going to keep building on it. sneeze. Excuse me. So, getting the eyeballs on there. Okay, I'm gonna let that solidify a little bit. Let me turn my exposure up. There you go, you guys can see a little better. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to put this closer to my face so I can see the little. Okay, now I think I'm going to, obviously there's like some big differences in the, between the eyeballs. I'm gonna fill that in, but I think I might fill it in with kind of like a wraparound stripe going up until it's all kind of uniform, which let me get a bunch of sticks handy. Gesundheit. It's a Gesundheit, which means good health in German. That's good phonetics. Okay, so I'm going to start at the base and try and work around the eyeballs and do a spiral going up the wand. So this could be disastrous. Let me go to the main camera so you guys can see what I'm doing. All right, here we go. Oh, you're fine. I don't think many people do. Just gonna go really slow. Zoom my camera in so you guys can see. go a little farther up. Okay, so I'm going to stop there, going up, wait for it to dry, peel all these little doodads off, or you could keep them on. Maybe they'll crisscross and make a really cool cool effect. Don't want these interfering with my next spiral. And also, I would say you can, if you want, if you're using a regular dowel, you can paint it beforehand or you can paint it after. I think I'm going to leave this one this color since it's the brown one. All right, I'm going to now do one right next to it. I think I'm going to leave like a gap between them, but when I come up the wand, I mean, you can do whatever kind of pattern you want on there. Like I said, I think the best looking ones that of any of the ones that I saw, the ones that were not super symmetrical and perfect were the most interesting. Don't be, because I probably will burn myself at least once during this. We'll be lucky if I don't. I am definitely not good at keeping my hands out of the glue. And I kind of just merged them at the end there. So this might take a minute, so I'm gonna keep going. that would be one of the reasons I wear gloves. Although I think it's not suggested that you wear rubber gloves with hot glue because it'll like melt the gloves to your skin or something. Okay, so getting there. It's kind of cool. I think it's got a good vibe to it. Yes, you absolutely. I mean, you can try and clean it afterwards by running a couple clear through. You really just. They're so cheap. I think this gun was like $4 or something. But if you. It's not going to ruin it, but I definitely would keep a dedicated one just for the black hot glue, for sure. But I'm telling you, black hot glue is a game changer. You can put them in silicone mold, put it in silicone molds and make all kinds of really cool applique, and it just looks, it's filled in. It's already filled in. So when you dry brush stuff on top of it, it's like instant effect. Well, if there was a loud thud in my house, I hope my family's okay. Wolfman, if you're watching this, give me a thumbs up. Alright, I totally forgot to clear the cobwebs off between that last layer and this one, and they are jacking me up, so. Word to the wise. Clear your cobwebs because they mess up your stream. Because I'm kind of using like a royal icing technique. I'm going to let that get good and solid before yank off some of these stupid spiderweb things. This is where we're at so far. I've got a good amount to do, so I'll probably just blast through that, hopefully. This would be a really fun way to make party favors. I mean, dowels cost like a $1 or so, and you get yourself some sandpaper and some hot glue. Super fun party favors. And for those folks in the Academy of Crafts tier, we are going to have, like I said, we're going to start doing that party planning book, party hosting, coffee table book. So this might be something to throw in there. Okay, back to the glue. Yeah, so because this time around I did oil painting, and not a whole lot of people are doing it, and I think it was maybe a little too intimidating for some folks. So we're going to kind of do one of the things that we do with the society, and we're going to do a collaborative project. And this one is going to be a party planning book, and I'm going to get it published. So it'll be something that you guys can have. And it's about themed parties. It doesn't necessarily have to be like Halloween or something like that. Like Desiree in Hiss and Scratch threw like a shrimp boil party, and it was themed, and that was really cool. So just themed parties in general. And it's going to be everything from like the schedule of when to prep the food to games and conversation pieces or whatever it is. And you guys are going to plan that all together and vote on things, and then I will do all of the graphics and InDesign and put it all together and publish it for us. And that'll be the year-long project for the Academy. Tablescaping section? What's that? Like setting a table? Like yes. Oh, that's absolutely going to be in there. So I'm kind of to the point where the spirals are probably going to start stacking on top of each other, but that's going to be kind of cool because I'm not going to have them, they'll have kind of undulating ridges. I thought the hot glue one would be a quick job, but I think it's gonna be longer lasting, or take longer than the wood putty. And every time you lift your hot glue gun up, just melt. Okay, I do not see a spinning wheel anymore, so I'm hopeful that we fixed it. Get some of this up.
They got it back.
All right, I think it's back. Sorry about that. I don't know. My internet died and then it came back and then, but YouTube wasn't loading it. I kept working. I got this weird like little lump because I got distracted while I was doing the glue, so I've got a lump that I'm trying to melt out. And it worked. Cool. Okay, so I'm almost done. Let me show you on the webcam. And what's going to happen is I think I might rub this with mica powder or paint it. I don't know. What do you guys think I should do? Should I paint it or... Yeah, get yourself some black glue sticks. They're kind of like a secret weapon. Okay. What color of mica powder would you guys like? Got all kinds of metallics. I've got like a dark one. Maybe like a bronze. Might look nice with the blue eyes. I've got all kinds of... I'm just using those mica powders that I was using for the potions. So I think that looks good. I think I want to put one ridge that kind of goes thicker down. Just to give a little bit of variation to this spiral. Get all the gunk off of it. And I want to put some kind of termination. Oh gosh. Whew. Spiraled right out of my hand. Maybe just kind of converge these into like cool. I'm hanging that this way so it kind of melts down. So let's show you on the main camera. Are you assuming you don't get the flower press? Oh no, I dipped my finger in it. I am so impatient sometimes. I think this will look cool when the mica powder picks up the You're winning something. Okay, so let me very carefully pick off these spider webs. Kind of hard to see them because they're all black. Yeah, this would have been a disaster doing it without this cardboard underneath. I would have had green mossy stuff all over the place, which is kind of a look you could be going for. Okay. I think it'll show me kind of where the spider webs are after I put some powder on it, and I'll just pull those off after. Okay, so let's see. Let this rest real quick. See if, yep, our wand is nice and hard, this other one. And then I could add a second layer, but we've got a bunch of mica here. It's about time for me to swap out candles as well. Put another one in there. Losing some daylight. Go ahead and just break in half. That's good too. All right, we'll use our hot glue gun to glue the candle back together. Right, let me glue that down. Don't want a candle falling on me. The hazards of wanting to have a some ambiance. Get that candle lit. There we go. All right, back to the mica powders. We've got like a copper, a shimmery copper, and like a pearl color, a pink, a more red copper color, a gold, like a shiny gold. I kind of am partial to the darker color. And then we've got like a black pearl. And then like a white pearl, or a champagne kind of colored pearl. What do you guys think would look good on this? Live chat is lagging, huh? Yes, there's like a black. Do you guys see? Did you see any of the examples? So let me flip them over so you can kind of see. Which of these do you think would look good on top of this? Copper? I'm kind of leaning towards copper. Copper or this, I don't know what this is. This one's called Sunset Gold. It would go, I think, it wouldn't contrast too much with the wood. So either this one or a copper, I'm going to say. Or this kind of shimmery gray. I mean, I could mix both. You want to do that? I'm going to start out with some here. Let's start out with the dark and see what we think about that. We'll put it up here. It's kind of got like a silver gleam to it. I can pick off the cobwebs as I go through. So let's just have all three of these open and I can just make it very variated. So you guys can hear me now, or is this still not working out? Oh, I like this one the most, I think. Let's get these spider webs. This would be a really fun just movie marathon project. You don't have to focus too much. Just kind of creative exercises. There's a lot of these spider webs. Do you guys kind of see? Ah, it's awesome. It actually has a really metallic finish. So it kind of looks like molten metal. What do you think? Well, let's put some of that copper on here. And I want to make like a holster or like a cool display case for wands would be a cool project. So I'm just gonna fixate on wands, I guess, for the next foreseeable future. Ooh. Guys, that's cool. Now I'm gonna suggest that you put a clear coat on top of this. Otherwise, I think your fingers would pick up the mica. Maybe not. But I suggest spraying any of your projects that have paint on it with a top coat. Some more silver. Yeah, this is cool. I am digging this a lot. I'm kind of using a smaller brush to make sure I can get into the little nitpicky areas. And I didn't bring it over here to my table area, but you can also stick gold leaf to the hot glue. Like it will just suck it up, kind of like the mica powder's done. Gives you some really cool effects too. So yeah, think about it. If you use the black glue in a silicone mold for like gems or any kind of filigree, you now have a flexible, fairly metallic looking applique for something. Some kind of, you're making a Dracula castle gate or something. Make your door knocker out of hot glue. Cover it in mica powder and you're now a blacksmith. So let's go around these eyes and see what the eyes are like. What do you think, guys? Wingardium Leviosa. So many spider webs. I feel like I need a booth at the Renaissance Festival. I think I could make a lot of money. A slightly sinister Renfest booth. Could sell all your guys' wares and send you the money. Kind of leaving a little bit of dark. $75 a pop. Let's see. The mica powders and stuff I had from another project. So for this one, I really only bought the glue gun and the dowels and the wood putty. So the wood putty costs like $7 for one package of it, and you could probably make, I don't know, like 5 wands out of it if you're just using it for small little details. Whoever gets this wand is going to be picking hairs off of it till eternity. Well, there we go. And it's lightweight too, because that's one of the things also. Everyone kind of does stuff with polymer clay. Polymer clay just adds so much weight to things, which might be something you're looking for. But there's other stuff out there like polyfoam, and that looks legitimately like metal, so that's really cool. Congratulations, one of you guys. You get the uber weird wand of eyeballs. Yeah, one wand down. And that's kind of nice. You don't have to, I mean, and you could even obviously paint. If you don't want metallic, you can paint the hot glue. It's just nice that it starts out with a dark base. Now, like I said, the mica powder looks like it's pretty embedded in there. But I definitely would spray it down just to make sure. It would probably be even easier or more ingrained if you did it while the glue was still semi, I don't want to say like wet, but put some more. I'm trying to balance out the colors. Put a little more red where I think it needs to be. Cool. Definitely. I like the eyeballs. Oh, for the wands at the Ren Fest? Yeah. I mean, if you put something in an applique with hot glue, like a silicone mold, and you made an applique of it, it would literally bend around the object you want because it's flexible. So here we go, guys. Put that one right here. And we will work on the other wand. That's great. Put all my caps in the right ones. Well, since you at the KC Ren Fest, let's join forces and just mass produce wands and sell them like crazy at the Ren Fair. Let me clean this area up. My poor craft room is demolished. It's times like this that I am happy that you guys have a little window of view. And I don't think you got to worry about the hot glue coming off, like, of the wood. Okay. So, let's look at our other wand. Those crystals seem to be in there pretty good, but I'm thinking I might take some hot glue maybe, and no, I don't know. They're in there pretty good. I'm gonna sand down the parts I got. All right, now I need to attach more crystals. Taking my black hot glue, put a dot. Gluing them on their little platform here. should call this wand like Krypton's Demise or something. This is the magic wand you use against Superman. These things in there. I don't like the way that went in. I don't want to look too uniform, you know what I mean? Just squeeze in these slivers. This is gonna look cool. I like it when I have like an idea how the craft along is gonna go, but then like you get kind of pleasantly surprised. That's always nice. And not like the other way around where it's like, oh, that was kind of, I mean, I'm usually like, okay, well, I showed what I meant to show. However, it wasn't the greatest finishing point. But that is super. I like that. Now I'm going to kind of let the glue bleed down around the rocks. Kind of flood it a little bit because I do not want these coming loose. And I'm thinking I'm gonna go dark on the color, maybe not. Kind of scraping it off one of the crystals. I got a little willy-nilly with it. Okay, now I think I might do some kind of like chambers, kind of make it look a little more like skyscraper-ish. I don't know, not really skyscraper, but columns, I guess. I got cobwebs dangling off my hands. Look at this thing, guys. Trim up and make this a hard edge. Oh, gotta wait for it to harden. And then, just to make it match, I'm going to kind of do some drippy doos down this way. Main camera. definitely don't want these to fall out on whoever wins this one, so. Kind of put some more structure to this part right here. Okay, rip all these things off. And then we will paint it. Oh, dang it. Got my finger in there. All right. Oh, I keep touching it. Some of that glue off. What color do you think this should be? We could do like some jade colors, or we could go dark with it for some contrast. Did I lose everyone? Cleaning that up a little bit where I smeared it with my finger like a big dummy. Okay. Any takers on color? What do you think we should paint it? For this, I definitely want all of the little strings. I see a gap. So what do you think? Paint it or do metallic mica on the glue and then paint it? Or, you know what, we're gonna paint the whole thing. Let's just paint all of it for something a little different than the other one. Spider webs are annoying me. Paint. Okay. Let me get all that ready. Super lightweight. All right. What if we made a wand that kind of looked like the flower press? Kind of jade looking. Excuse me. This one open. Where are all my colors? Well, that would have been bad. The lid was open and I shook it. Not today. All right, let's mix some paint. I think we should go with a dark green base. Let's get all this out of the way. Kind of want a teal jade color. It's nice and dark. it. And I'm going to do a base coat. Trying to avoid the crystals, which I think is one of the reasons why if you're going to have some kind of charm or doodad, it's probably better to paint it first and then put all the stuff on it and then do a touch-up. Let me wipe off some of the paint that got on the crystal. Yeah, I think the green is going to look nice. So also, if you are painting after the fact, you can obviously scrape the paint off of the rocks and stuff. Let me find a smaller brush for in between. But you definitely have to, if you're going to do any kind of scraping, make sure you do it before you put your clear coat on. And once again, the black hot glue makes a really awesome base. We are almost done with the first layer. So we're gonna have the base coat, then we'll do some mid-tone highlights and then some actual highlights. Just dry brushing technique. Bigger brush out now. How we doing, everyone? We still awake? I think people said the chat was lagging, so I don't know if chat is working. I'd have to say this is one of the cooler ones that I've seen out of the ones I was trying to find for inspiration. Like I said, there was some really neat ones, but they were like too much, there was too much going on. Like, I'm like, that's, for me, a wand should have like some special part to it, but should also look like usable, I guess. But that's just me. So, first layer of paint is on. Come on, focus camera. Wolfman, is my audio dead?
What? I have no idea.
Oh, okay, just making sure. We seem to be having some issues today, so.
There's some food for you.
Thank you, Wolfman. Okay. Got our dark green. Definitely need to go lighter with the wand color because it's contrasting, or not, there's not enough contrast between the crystals and the, which that's kind of a thing too, like the monochromatic, but we're going to mix up a little more of a vibrant jade color, just a dash of white, some blue. And we're going to start dry brushing a gradient towards the tip. I think I'm done with this hot glue gun. Just need to make sure it doesn't burn me. It's still drying, kind of. You have to wait for your underlayer to be pretty good before you start dry brushing. So wipe off the excess. And you might be thinking, oh, I want it to do like an ombre effect towards the end, so I'll just add white to whatever color I've got. And you can do that, but add vibrancy too. So put a little more chromatic value in there, make the green a little more evident. The eye thing on my table, that's a black mirror. It's for basically, I don't want to say fortune telling, but kind of works like a crystal ball. Scrying, yes, thank you. That is the correct. And then when I'm dry brushing, you need to run across the surface of where the difference is between the highest point and the lowest, because you do not want to get all the color all the way down into the grooves. So probably gonna have to touch this up once I pull off all these stupid spider webs. Okay, and now we go even lighter. And you're doing this in really kind of shallow increments. I think I'm going to shave down the glue here. Just, it's kind of sticking out at an awkward depth. So I'm going to shave those parts down to be a little more flush. I'll have to redo some of the paint, but that's fine. I'll just go back to my dark side, except and I'm going to do it to this other end too. This is something you can do also if you're wanting. Just put a glob of glue on, and then you can like chop away if you wanted to make something look a little more structured, like a gemstone or something. It's kind of what I'm doing right here. I just didn't like. I felt like the glue wasn't blended in with the rest of the wand in this particular spot. Okay. Much better. Okay. Wait for these layers to dry a little bit. And of course you can always wet blend if you want. I just feel like I get a smoother gradient when things are dry brushed on. So we got like a, you see the gradient happening? Towards the end of the wand. Kind of gonna do that here on the handle part. Oh, sorry. And I'll probably go just a shade lighter. Sorry, a tone. Yeah. We'll do kind of like a minty teal. And I say, as a good rule of thumb, you don't want to make your wand look too busy, so we're not going to put too much. So it kind of looks like it's glowing a little bit, like the end is glowing. Kind of magical, you know what I mean? Okay. What do we think? I think I need to blend up here a little better. The handle needs more bright. That's better. Okay, I think I am done with 2 wands. I will put out a post saying who wins what. I think they're both pretty cool. Let me clear all this stuff and we'll have a little final shots. Talk about fancy. I feel like every wand has like its own personality. Isn't that cool? All right. So I hope you guys picked up some techniques that you can either use to make your own wands, or I don't know, you could use them on some other kind of project, maybe a cosplay or whatever. But this was a fun craft along, and I could definitely see myself, just like the potions, making a never-ending supply of these. Very elegant. So congratulations to our winners. I'll announce those today. I do gotta go spend a little bit of time with Wolf Tot, and then I will put that up for everyone to see. So we have the winner of the flower press and 2 wand winners. I wanted to do something with this. Taking suggestions. What do you think I should do with this one? It's almost like a unicorn horn. I hope you guys had fun. Yeah, I think these turned out better than I expected, honestly. Because I didn't, the last one I had made, like I said, was this one. And I didn't put like a little ledge for the crystals to sit on, so it was kind of hard to situate them on this. So if you are going to have kind of crystals, a bulk of something around it, it's good to have like a little ledge for you to be able to adhere things to, because, you know, crystals are kind of hard to work with because they go in any and every direction. So I'm actually very happy with how these turned out. So congratulations. You guys are gonna have some cool wands. So thank you everyone for showing up to this craft along. I really had a lot of fun with this one. Pretty simple. Carving free. Just a little bit of sandpaper and some wood putty and some hot glue. So I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with. Be looking for the post for the winners. Bye, everyone. Bye. Wait, does anyone have any questions before I go? I always forget to do that. Any questions? Lumos. Okay, I don't see any questions, so I will talk to you guys in Discord and be looking for that post. See you later.